Hello again. Today we're going to be talking about finding character traits. Now the character, as you will recall, is the person or the animal or the thing in a story that the story is mostly about. The problem happens to that main character and the solution he or she has to come up with a solution to the problem by the end of the story. What you are going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at a character's traits, or you can think of it as their personality traits. These are going to be words that are going to describe that character. So we're talking adjectives, words that describe that character. And a character can have more than one trait. Okay, so some examples could be sneaky, funny, cautious, playful, patient, anxious, adventurous, selfish, loyal, intelligent. All of these could be examples of a character's possible traits. So what we are going to do, and with the help of your handout here, is we're going to be looking for characters in a story, finding that character trait that describes him or her, an example from the story where the character shows this trait, and then how that example shows the character's trait. The book that we're going to be using to find these examples is 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐚𝐦 by Coleen Salley. Now, if you've not read these books, there are a series of them. They are very, very funny. They are all about our character 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐚𝐦 here. And if you are interested in learning more, you can find them in your local library. Let's read a little bit about 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐚𝐦 and see if we can find some of his character traits. 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐚𝐦 was his mama's and his auntie's sweet little patootie. They just loved him to death. 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐫𝐚𝐦 used to go see his auntie almost every day, and she nearly always gave him something to take home with him. One day she gave him a piece of rich gold cake. 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿𝐴 took it in his hand, scrunched his hand up tight, and went along home. On his way home he passed 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿, and 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿 asked, "What you got, 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿?" "Cake," he replied. Don't look much like cake to me," said 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿. So what happened to it? When 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐿 got home, his mama looked at that fistful of crumbs and she said, "𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿, what do you have in your hand?" "Cake, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." "Oh, 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry cake. The way to carry cake is to put the cake on your head, put the hat on your head, and come along home. Do you hear me, 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿?" "Yes, Mama." By and by, on another day when 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a pound of freshly churned butter to take home with him. 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 put that on his head, put a hat on his head, and went along home. On his way home, he passed Raccoon, and Raccoon asked, "What you got, 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿?" "Butter," he replied. Don't look much like butter to me," said Raccoon. Look what's happening. When 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 got home, his mama looked at him and she said, "𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿, what have you have in your hat?" "Butter, Mama. Auntie gave it to me." "Oh, 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿, you don't have the sense you were born with. That's no way to carry butter. The way to carry butter is to wrap it up in some leaves and carry it down to the brook, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water, and you cool it in the water. Then you take it up carefully in your hands and come along home. Do you hear me, 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿?" "Yes, Mama." So by and by, on another day when 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 was visiting his auntie, this time she gave him a sweet little puppy dog to take home with him. So 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 wrapped it up in some leaves and carried it down to the brook. And he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water, and he cooled it in the water, and he took it up carefully in his hands and went along home. Okay, so at this point, if you want to finish reading this story, you can find it in the library. But I think we can get a good idea about our character 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 here. So if we want to start off with 𝐈𝐳𝐬𝐿 as being our character, can you think of some words that would describe him? what would you say would be a character trait that would describe our friend Epossumondas? And well, one thing that sticks out is he is obedient, right? He does follow directions. Okay, so example from the story. When he takes the butter home, in a hat. Okay, he was just doing what his mama told him to do, right? To put something in the hat and take care of it. Okay, so explain how that shows the character's trait. He did what mama told him. Obviously, we know that's not what she meant, but he did do what she told him to do. He took it very literally. And if we want to talk about Epossumondas here, he has a few different character traits. And what else could we say about Epossumondas? Not only he's obedient, he's also pretty silly, right? Okay, because let's think of what he did to that poor little puppy dog. Okay, he cools the dog in the stream, right? And okay, how that shows the character's trait. He treated the dog like the butter. He was supposed to do that with the butter, and he did it with the dog instead. All right. So now it's your turn. Go ahead and as you read your stories, try to think of the main characters, words that describe them, and evidence from the story to show that they have those character traits. Happy reading.